In this session, I'm going to work with this paint Stallion. He's 6 years old and he's here in training to learn how to be ridden. So he's getting quite ready for me to get on him. So I'm going to show you the preparation that I do to get him ready to actually be ridden. So we're just going to go ahead and start. So what I like to start with each session is a lunging exercise where I'm guiding him around all of the arena. And I will start and I will do the first half in a walk and then the second half in a trot. And he's doing really well with his training. He's a really sweet stallion. The only thing is, like, he can be a little bit spooky at certain things. So today he's reacting to this chair. And he's seen it 100 times before. But today this chair is a little bit scary. So I'm just going to see if I can lunge him around. Good. So when I start a horse, it's really important to me that the horse trusts me and that I feel like I can trust the horse. So I don't want the horse to get afraid or feel nervous or anything like that. I just want it to be very smooth, very relaxing. And I want for both me and the horse to feel safe and feel okay. So that is why the prep work is really important. I need to first of all make sure that he is okay with the saddle in walk, trot, and canter, that he will listen to me when I tell him where to go, and that we have a very friendly communication. So when I'm guiding him around, I walk with him when he is at close to the wall, and when he's kind of catching up to me, I'm just going to stop and then guide him around. And in this way, he will get to learn that I can lead him both when I'm walking and also when I'm standing still. So now I'm going to go ahead and ask him to trot. I start with the vocal cue, and if that is not enough to get him to trot, I would just add some energy with the end of my rope. And then we're just going to do exactly the same. And I'm going to walk a little bit faster so he doesn't have to take that many circles all the way around. So if I walk slow, he will have to do a lot more circles. If I walk fast, it's not that many. So we're going to cut and walk a little bit into the middle here. And I'm just going to stand still and see if he can just trot around me as well. And then I'm going to go towards his hind. See if he will turn and disengage his hind. Good boy. Ah. And then I'm going to give him some treats. Good boy. So we're going to do this exercise in both directions. And when we're standing here, I also want him to be aware of my personal space. So I don't want him barging into my space. I would like for him to be friendly. So I will be friendly towards him, and he needs to also learn to be friendly towards me. Good boy. And I'm also all the time really aware of my body language, my own energy. And I want him to feel relaxed, so I need to feel relaxed as well. Good boy. Now he's a little bit close for me to kind of send him out, so I'm going to ask him to back up a little bit. He's also walking a little bit forward, so I'm just going to gently wave the rope a little bit. Good boy. And then I'm going to change hands on my rope and guide him the other way. And we're going to do the same here. We'll start with just walking. And I'm going to see if he's able to walk past this chair again. And I can already feel he's hesitating a little bit. So we'll see. I want him to feel okay with this. Yeah, really good. So I'm paying attention to him. He's looking a little bit towards the gate. And you know, it's also something that he's been here a lot of times, so he shouldn't react to the gate logically. But for some reason, today he's a little bit nervous about the chair and about this gate. So I may just stay here a little bit to see if I can get him a little bit more comfortable before we move on. So you can tell that he's looking a little bit towards the gate, but he is able to walk past it, so that's good. We're going to continue. Checking out the camera a little bit as well. Good boy. I like to start with this exercise because it gives me the opportunity to kind of feel him, how he feels. So if he feels like he's nervous or he has a lot of energy, he would get the chance to kind of show me when I'm leading him around. So let's say he would be extremely nervous today, or excited, or had a lot of energy, then he would be able to run a little bit now and get that out of his system. But I can tell, like, he's able to walk on a loose rope, and he's focused, he's paying attention. So I'm able to read him a little bit before we start. Also, I get to see if it's something in the arena he's a little bit nervous about. Like, for example, the chair or the gate. And then I know before I ride him that these are some areas that should be a little bit better before I ask him to go past those places when I ride him. So now I'm going to ask him to trot. He read my mind there. We're just going to continue this in the trot. And then we're going to go out to the middle. And see if he can trot around me a little bit. And then I'm going to go towards his hind. Good boy. Good. Before he came here for training, he had already had the saddle on, but it's been a while. I think they said like it's been a year since they had a saddle on him. So I feel like he's not 100% accustomed to the saddle just yet. And I would like him to be before I ride him. But he's doing better. I can just feel like he's reacting to the saddle a little bit sometimes. So I'm going to take him up in the canter and see how he is. And I'm going to take the lunge whip with me to help me get him to canter. So he's doing well in the canter as well. In the beginning, it was he had a little bit trouble with going into the right canter. He would easily go into a counter canter. And he also would kind of stop a lot and try to go the other way. And he didn't completely understand that he had to continue around on the circle. But he's gotten a lot better. So I would like for him to be completely fine with the saddle in walk, trot, and canter before I start to ride him. So we're going to take him in a canter now. Good boy. Of course, before you use a whip, I'm going to show him that it's nothing bad. I've done this a lot with him before, so he knows that it's not like a dangerous thing. I'm not going to use it to whip him. I'm just going to use it to guide him and help him kind of keep the canter. I don't have that long rope, so I want to give him all of the rope that I have And that is why it's nice to have a whip to kind of help me add some energy or block him if he's going into the wrong direction. Good boy. All right, so I'm going to ask him to move out on the left. And because I think he's mostly been working in a round pen, and that's great. The only thing is that the round pen has walls all the way around, and here it's an open space, which is why I also think it was a little bit confusing for him in the beginning to canter around on this open space with no walls to kind of support him. But here I only have this arena, I don't have a round pen, so I'm doing all the training in here. But I'm going to use the walls that I have to my benefit. So each time I'm going to ask him to canter, I'm going to do it when he is approaching the wall. So I'm going to build up my energy a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. No. It's a counter. We're going to go around one more time. Yeah. Ah. Good. Ah. Link it. Really good. He doesn't have to canter for that long, just a few rounds to make sure that he is okay and not kind of bucking or anything with the saddle on. Good boy. Good boy. Good. I'm going to give him a little rest, and then I'm going to ask him to go out on the right hand. Good. And now he's kind of coming into my space, but he's coming in very gently. I don't feel like he's barging in. He's coming in a very friendly way. And then I feel comfortable with him in my space. So I have like a rule: if the horse wants to be close to me, they have to be friendly. If he's being rude or trying to push me or bite me or anything like that, I would ask him to back away. But he's being very gentle. He's very sweet. I think he's a very kind and gentle horse. Good. Okay, we're going to do the other hand. So we're going to guide him on the right. And I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to use the walls that I have to help him go into the canter. So instead of asking him right here, he would get the open space in the beginning. I'm going to make it a little bit easier and ask him when he's kind of approaching the wall. But he's a little bit, I want him to be a little bit on a bigger circle. I'm going to add some energy towards his shoulder. A little bit better now. Don't want him too close. Yeah. Ah. He's doing really well. He's not bucking, but I sometimes feel like he is thinking about bucking. But he's not doing it, so I'm not gonna correct him for something he's not doing. Even if he did buck, I would not correct him. I would just continue to ask him to canter until he didn't do it anymore, and then I would reward. But even when we are in a walk or a trot, I sometimes still feel like he's a little bit thinking about that saddle. You know, it's not like completely, he's not 100% accustomed. But he's doing well still. So there's a few ways I could deal with that. I could ask him to canter more, but because he was struggling a little bit with canter in the beginning, I want to reward him now for doing it well. He's going into the correct canter. He's doing the complete circles. He's not stopping all the time, trying to change directions. So because he's doing the canter well now, I don't want to ask him to continue all the time. I want to reward him. So he's going to continue to do the canter well. So I think what I may do is just kind of add a little bit onto the canter each session, but not push him too much, because I want to keep him motivated. Especially with something that he has been struggling a little bit with. I don't want to kind of overstep and ask for too much, because then he might get disencouraged. So we're just going to see. Now I'm going to walk with him a little bit and see if he can walk next to me, follow me, move his hind and front legs, and back up a little bit. So when I walk with him, I would like him to be on my side, so I can use my side view to pay attention to him. If he's walking behind me, I can't really see him, and I can't see what he is thinking about or what he's doing. So I like and I prefer to keep the horse at my side. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to turn, step in towards the hind, and see if he can step the hind legs over. Really good. And then I'm going to make a little bit of a small rope like this. And I'm going to turn and see if he can move the front. Good boy. Good boy. Good. Good. And I would like for me to just be able to step right in and for him to move away. Really good. Good boy. And then I'm going to see if he can back up. A little bit ahead here. Good. Ah, good. And I like to have a word that I use each time I'm going to give him treats. And my word is bra, which means good. And I like him to really know this word, so I can use that as well when I'm writing. So each time he will hear this word, he knows that I'm going to give him treats. And then I'm going to do the same, the opposite direction. And like now, he's a little bit behind me, so I'm trying to use my left hand to guide him forward, and I can use the end of the rope to ask him to move up a little bit if he's walking too slow. He's a little bit slow. Come on. So I don't want to feel like I'm dragging him around. I want him to learn to follow me and follow my energy and my speed. Good boy. And not kind of pull away. So I just want him to walk straight here next to me. Good. Good. So I'm going to continue until I feel like he's doing this a little bit better. He's kind of dragging a little bit towards the wall. Good. Okay, I'm going to turn, step in towards the hind, and wave at them a little bit if he's not moving. He's being a little bit slow. There you go. Better. I'm going to make a little bit of a tiny little piece of the rope here, and I'm going to step in towards him. And I'm going to wave this if he's not moving. Good. Good boy. He wants treats. Good. Step. Back up. And these exercises are really good to get focus and also help the horse understand that I can move his body. And also we have different cues for different parts of his body. And that will give me the ability to steer him. So steering the horse is not just about steering the head, it's also about steering the feet. And he's got 4. So I need to be able to communicate to him about all his different legs, you know, his hind legs and his front legs, and also the head and neck. He's doing this really well. So we're going to continue on. And all this, he doesn't need to do anything completely perfect, but I just need it to work, you know. It's going to help us build trust and understanding. So the next thing I like to do is to see if I can make reins, and I'm going to pretend that I'm riding him. So that is what we're going to do. And I really like to do this exercise because when the first time you get on a horse, they are going to be a little bit confused, you know, because your aids and your cues, they're not coming from the ground anymore. You're not standing beside the horse. You're sitting on top of them. So it's very typical the first time you get on, you ask the horse to move, and they will not understand because you're sitting on here and the cues will be different. And you know, the horse doesn't know that the leg cue means to move. That is something they will have to learn. But if you do this exercise first, it's going to be a little bit similar. And you can already start to practice to steer and stop and bend the head and neck and help the horse understand the cues coming from this position. Good horse, good boy. So I'm going to first lean over him and I'm going to move the stirrup on the opposite side and check that he is okay. And I can also move my hand here above him to make sure that he is okay with movement on top of his back. Then I'm going to ask him to move. And I'm going to steer him around the arena. And he has already done this a few times, so he's got a pretty good understanding of what this is all about. So as I'm walking around like this, I'm leaning on him. I'm also moving the stirrup. I'm moving my arm. I'm putting my weight on him, leaning on him. And then I'm trying to steer him as well. So I'm guiding him with the rein and see if I can maybe walk in a circle. And I'm trying to do everything that I'm going to do, or some of the things I'm going to do when I first get on him and start to ride him. And the way I ride and train the horse to be ridden, it's a very step-by-step method. So I'm not going to get on him and expect to walk, trot, and canter the first day. We're going to start in a walk, and then we're going to trot, and then we're going to canter. And it's not going to happen in one day. It's going to happen maybe in 2 to 3 weeks. So when I have a horse in for training that is here to learn how to be ridden, I usually spend 1 month teaching the horse the basics of that. And the first week we will just do the groundwork. The second week I will ride him in a walk. The third week in a trot. And the fourth week we'll start to canter, depending on the strength of the horse and how well the horse has kind of progressed with the training. So he's doing really well with this, and I can easily steer him. And one thing I'm also sure to be doing is that I can steer him to the left, but I also want to steer him to the opposite side. So I will be on his blind spot. So if he's turning his head to the right, I will kind of be a little bit in his blind spot. He will not be able to see me, which means that he will need to trust me a little bit more. And I want to make sure that he is okay with that before I get on him. Then I'm going to ask him to stop. Oh, 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 oh. And I'm going to try to stop him with just my vocal cue. I'm going to give him a little bit of time, like I did now. But if he did not stop, I would eventually pull the rein. But I really want to teach him this sound as well, that this means to stop. And each time we stop, he will get treats. So I really want to motivate the horse to stop. Good boy. And then I can see if I can bend his neck to the left and check that he will listen to the rein. Good. Ah, good. And then I'm going to take the opposite side. Good. Bra. And then I can give him treats. Good boy. And it's the same here, being able to bend the neck to the opposite side, because then you are in his blind spot. You know, the horse is not going to be able to see you that well. So if you turn the head to the right and the horse gets nervous, then you know you need to work a little bit more before actually getting on. But he's doing really well. And then I also want to ask him to back up from this position. So I'm going to pull equally on both reins, and I would like him to lower his head and back up a little bit. And he's quite new at this exercise, so I don't expect him to do it super well, but I expect him to understand a little bit. So I'm pulling the rein. Good boy. When he's releasing the head, I'm going to give him treats. Good, good. I also like to see if I can go completely behind the horse and just move my hands. And if I see his ears and his focus completely pinned back at me, I will know that he is a little bit nervous about me being behind him. But you can tell he's lowering his head, he's feeling comfortable, and I feel comfortable being here, behind him, being in his space, and I feel like I can trust him not to go anywhere. So this is a good test as well. Good boy. And now we're going to do exactly the same from the opposite side. Good boy. And you know, all the time I'm just petting him a little bit when I have the chance. I'm telling him he's a good boy. I really want him to enjoy the session and feel safe with me. You know? And I want him to feel like if he's trying, he will get rewarded. Have some sawdust in your ear. Good. And then we're going to do the same. So I'm kind of pretending like I'm getting on him. I'm going to move the stirrup, adding some weight, hanging on him, and he knows the drill. He's starting to walk. Good boy. Yeah, it's correct. And we're going to steer him the opposite side. And I'm going to move my hand here. I'm really just trying to really prepare him for me sitting on him and for him to feel safe and okay with that. So if this is gonna, when I get on him, it's gonna feel familiar, you know? It's not gonna be a shock for him. That's why I'm doing this. I want the transition for me getting on his back to be smooth. So I want the groundwork to really merge with the riding. It's a little bit more hesitant on this side. So I'm gonna see if that will kind of smooth out or if we're gonna have to take another round. And then I'm gonna add some weight. Really trying to hang my weight on him. Good boy. I feel like on this side he's kind of avoiding the wall a little bit more. Then I go back to moving the stirrup. Good. He's doing well. And now I'm gonna just check him down this wall, just to check that he's okay. Because I felt he was a little bit weird with the wall. A little bit better. Now, continue. But at least I don't feel he's reacting to me. And that's the most important thing. So the worst thing that can happen is if I get on the horse and he's afraid of me. Because then if you're trying to calm him down, the horse is going to be afraid of you. It's not going to work. So if he's hesitating a little bit on the way, but it's not a hesitation towards me, then I also feel pretty good. So I'm going to see if I can turn him to the left, and I will be on his blind side, on the right side. So I'm really trying to make sure that I'm bending his neck and head a little bit so I don't see his right eye. There you go. So I feel like he's a little bit hesitant on this side. So immediately after he's bending his head to the left, he's kind of straightening out a little bit again to get me in his view. So I'm just going to try one more time just to see. I felt he's a little bit more confident on the other side. It's just these small signals. There you go. Good. Oh, 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 oh. The stop is just not that great just yet. I'm going to try one more time on this. I felt like he didn't even pick it up at all. He just continued to walk. He didn't even think about stopping. So we're going to have to try again. Yeah. I'm just going to ask him to walk off a little bit when he finishes his treats. Then I'm going to try to stop him again. Oh, 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 oh. Still didn't think about stopping. So this is something he's going to need to work on. In general, I feel he's a little bit more focused when I'm on the opposite side. Here is just these small things. And I feel he's a little bit more hesitant. And he's not that focused, you know. He's a little bit more focused about the other things, like the wall, stuff like that. I just feel the connection is a little bit better on that side. Nothing too bad, but just a few things, a few small things. I'm going to see if I can bend his head this way. Really well. And then we're going to check the opposite side. Good. Ah. Good. At least he knows the word bra. Yes. Good boy. And then it's the backing up and the head down. So we're going to straighten his neck. Good. Good. When he's searching down, I'm also going to release, and then I'm just going to ask him again to get a step backwards as well. But I'm always kind of releasing the rein if he is releasing his neck. Good boy. Only one step is enough. We can kind of advance this. But he is thinking about the right thing. Good boy. Really good. I feel like he's about 90% ready. But I feel confident enough with starting to sit on him. So that's what we're going to try to do now. I'm going to take him over to the mounting block, and we have already practiced a little bit with this. And before, when I started horses, I would typically get on from the ground, and I would bend their neck and get on. But lately, these past years, I have preferred going on the mounting block, because then I can also stand on that and kind of prepare them of me getting on them. And I also like the horse to just stay with the neck straight. And I'm just gonna kind of trust the horse to not go anywhere. So this method, you need a little bit more trust. I feel like he's a little bit too far away. Yeah. There you go. Maybe a little bit better. Okay, smell it first. This is also something he is used to, but he's hesitating a little bit now. There you go. Bra. Flink it. So I'm first just going to repeat the things that he has already done, which is me leaning over, giving him treats on this side. Good boy. And then I can put my leg in the stirrup and kind of get on him a little bit and see how he feels. Good. Oh. And get down and lean over and give him treats. Oh. Oh. And what I would like to do is just get on him and give him treats. Ah, flink it. And then just see if I can sit here and move on him a little bit. Good boy. Bra. And give him treats. So his first experience with me being on him, I'm not going to ask him for anything. I'm just going to sit and give him treats. Good boy. Good boy. And just move up and down a little bit. So he is accustomed and feels me sitting on him and moving a little bit. And he feels pretty okay. He's feeling okay. He's just thinking about getting treats. And that is exactly what I want. Just want him to feel like this is friendly and nice. And him like, do I get more treats? Will I get more treats? Good boy. Good boy. And then I'm gonna get off again. Ah. And that is kind of the first time I get on the horse, it's not going to be anything more than this. And then each day we're going to build on this. So the next time, maybe I ask him to just move a few steps and I will give him treats again. But the very first time, I just want this to be his first experience. Good. So he's doing really well, I think. Like I said, I feel like he's 90% there. But I feel confident enough to kind of start this introduction. And we're going to continue to work on all of these exercises and also build on the canter a little bit. And then I'm gradually going to ride him more and more. But I want him to feel safe and I want him to feel good, relaxed, and confident.